the best effort we can here. Thank you for joining us. Again, trying something new, attempting to be as responsible as we can with the whole COVID situation. With me on here, we have Amy Conkling, Director of Marketing and Development for Hut Track, Randy Carter, Superintendent of Sports, and Jeff Conaway, who's our Youth Sports Coordinator. They are the team to guide the coaches through this year. We are asking that you ask questions in the chat. Of course, with as small a number here, I don't think, Amy, we would care if we let them ask us a question. We can unmute them as we go through this. But really today, just wanted to go over, Randy forgot to mute, go over kind of the COVID guidelines. Things are a little different there. And then make sure you're aware of the packet and as far as communications and rules and so forth go. So we'll just start off with kind of those COVID guidelines. We've had success with our outdoor programs with this summer. And so we're really just kind of following that same model, just encouraging everybody to social distance as they can, no shared water bottles, those kind of things. We're hoping that everybody will, as they're coming in and out of facilities, will have the mask on when they're not able to social distance. We have scheduled the games to where that there's some time in between, so we don't have as many people gathering as we normally would. And then, of course, we'll keep up with the cleaning of equipment, shared equipment, and bleachers. There will be a cleaning kit at each facility, each player area. So if a player does want to spray off a seat or something like that, that'll be available for that as well. On the sportsmanship thing, we are, again, just trying to reduce, make sure we're not giving high fives after the game with other teams and those kind of things. So that's really the key there for soccer being outdoors. I think it's going to go fairly simple with that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Amy. She's going to go through communication on how we communicate with coaches throughout the season and walk you through the packet that you're going to get. So Amy, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you guys for being patient with us. You're our first one, so we're doing a few things here and learning. So in the chat section, I've posted 2 links. The first were those, one of them being the COVID guidelines that Tony just touched on. And these are on our webpage, but there's that direct link. If you click on it, you'll be able to download that. Your specific guidelines for the outdoor sports with soccer, that is included in your coach's packet, which is also included in the chat section on a link. So I'm going to share the screen here and bear with me here as I share screen. And I'm going to open up our packet for youth fall sports. All right, are you guys seeing my screen here with this youth fall sports packet? Yes, I hope so. Nod. Okay, good.
Yes.
Good deal. Thank you. So this is kind of your little go-to handbook as the season progresses. But like Tony said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about communication with your athletes, also communication with us as you start your seasons. You can flip through this on your own, but I just wanted to highlight a few important items to note. You'll find on page 2, there's our contact info and where we post almost all of our things. So you'll see Randy and Jeff, they're your go-to people for youth soccer this season. You can also, you'll want to note that we post frequently on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then our 2, the schedule website that we have. that we will have available starting August 31st. And then the Rainout app, there's a direct address. A lot of this, if you coached with us before, it's the same web page. We just update it season by season. And then the Rainout app stays the same. We just change it with our seasons. So definitely bookmark those two things on your computer or your mobile device. So a few things with communication with parents, just to remind you. First off, after this meeting, Jeff Conaway, he's your go-to sports coordinator. He will have rosters ready starting tomorrow, which is August 21st. And you can email him if you prefer it emailed to you, or you can stop by our downtown office tomorrow anytime between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to pick up your roster. We also will have printed copies of the packet if you need that information. But the big thing, you need to get your rosters as soon as you can tomorrow, because we really would like all those players contacted by Monday, August 24th. Parents are already asking, we had a 2-week delay or extension with our deadline. And so there are some parents who registered with us clear back in June and July, and they're chomping at the bit. They want to know that you are their child's coach and how practices and games are going to be done. And so for soccer, it's really nice because we've already scheduled the practices for you of how we set this up. So as I go through this grid here, this is really important for you to bookmark as well. So August 24th, that's that Monday. That's when we want your rosters or your rosters contacted. And then we will have info sheets later on in this packet that we'll go through. Those will need to be turned in. And that coach info sheet, it's really just your name, an assistant coach's name, your t-shirt size, and then any dates or times that don't work for you. We give you up to 2 opportunities to make requests. So you'll want those turned in by Monday, as well as our code of conduct agreement, which is also included in this packet and has not changed. If you coached with us before, it'll look really familiar. Also note that August 24th, again, is that deadline for contacting your players. If you have issues while you're contacting your players, we provide the phone number and the email address. If anything comes up and you are just striking out and not contacting those players, we ask that you let Jeff know ASAP, and we will find and track them down so you can communicate with your players. That is our biggest thing with coaches, is we ask you to communicate and over communicate. Don't assume that parents are going to know everything. I myself, we like to do a GroupMe app. It just where everyone is invited on the team, and that also allows for any grandparents that might be helping with transportation, or if it's a divorced family, all parents are included on that. But also people use group texts, but texting and email, I really think that text is over email anymore. So make sure that you have a good number for them, and you can text or call them just for quicker information to share with players and their parents. So moving on with this grid, so after Monday, you'll have your coaches info sheets, code of conduct, your deadline for contacting players. The way that it's set up that we have for our soccer is the week of September 7th. So that's Labor Day. Traditionally, we do Monday nights and Tuesday and Thursday nights for practices. With Monday being Labor Day, that first practice September 8th for the 3 to 6 year old soccer. So are you guys both in 3 to 6 year old? I can see. Are you guys both coaching that younger age group? Yes. Okay, so you'll both be traditionally practicing on Monday nights. That first week, it's going to be Tuesday night. It's a little odd just because of that Labor Day holiday. You'll be practicing at the Cary Park soccer fields. If you need exact directions on where that is at, please let Jeff Conaway know, or you can shoot a chat or a question in the chat, and we can give you that exact address where those are at in Cary Park. So you will start practice September 8th. You can tell your team that. And then from there on out, it will just be Monday nights. And you can see 3 and 4 year olds, they're at 5:30. 5 and 6 year olds, they start at 6:30. And then your games will start on September 12th. Are there any questions at this point? Okay. Again, this is all in the packet. You'll see where picture days in there. We also have October 17th, the final games. But this is all included in your packet, so please look over that. Really the big thing at this point, your high priority is once this meeting's over, getting those rosters from Jeff tomorrow and then start contacting your players and letting us know if there's any issues. So if parents ask, the best places for information from Hutch Rec, we post our schedules and picture day schedules. We post all of that on the youth sports webpage. That link is in this packet. We also do a good job of communicating if there's any type of cancellations or delays. It's on that Rainout app that we mentioned, but we'll also put that on our Hutch Rec Facebook page and share that with our other social media outlets. So Instagram, Hutch Rec, Facebook, and then Twitter. So we really try to over communicate and also let the coaches know about that. So that's the big highlights of upcoming dates and communication. I'll open it up to questions right now before we move on to the next section. Are there any questions from either one of you? No? Okay. I will say that Club Missouri coaches will be helping you with those first few weeks of practices. So you do have some assistance there on your practice sessions. So Tony, I'll give it back to you and stop screen sharing.
Okay, thanks, Amy. So now we're available for questions. No, threw a lot at you there, and always once you get a chance to look at the packet, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to Jeff and Randy on rules questions and schedules and so forth. But I think if Amy can unmute everyone, then you guys can. If you have a question for us, we're happy to answer it at this time.
I don't really have any questions right now.
Yeah.
Clayton, you're good?
Yeah, answered everything. Yep, we're good. He's good. He doesn't have any questions.
Who's that Spider-Man in the room?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
How many kids are on a roster?
Well, Amy, you're still muted.
Sorry, I'm going to unmute Jeff, and he's been building the rosters, and he can let you know that. And
Jeff,
he's
you're
muted
still
too.
muted.
Jeff, you're still
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Who was the lady coach? Was that Coach
That's me. I guess.
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Kelsey Baird? Okay.
Yeah.
We put 8 on your roster,
Okay,
and
that's good.
we play 4-on-4, and everybody has 8 or 7, and that's how many is on your roster.
All right.
Perfect. Yeah, we really tried this season to keep the numbers small, not only for COVID, but to make sure every kid gets to play as much as possible. So we really tried to watch our roster sizes this year. So, all right. Well, Clayton, Kelsey, thanks for being here. I'm not sure where the other coaches are, but
Thank you.
we're learning that if we don't have something for them to pick up, they probably aren't going to show up. So anyway,
Yeah.
you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you out